Welcome to The Terrible Take, a daily segment telling Steelers Nation what's on our mind. I'm Bryan. The Pittsburgh Steelers will open their 2022 regular season on Sunday against the Cincinnati Bengals, and that road game has the black and gold as nearly a touchdown underdog with a few days remaining until the contest kicks off. I certainly understand the spread being that big, and quite honestly, it will be hard for anyone who is super objective to pick Pittsburgh to win the game. There is something to note ahead of the Sunday game between the Steelers and the Bengals that could ultimately be a factor. For starters, the two teams had totally different approaches during training camp and the preseason. The Steelers tackled quite often during training camp, and they played their starters quite a bit during the preseason. As for the Bengals, it was the complete opposite. They barely tackled, if any, during training camp, and not a lot of their starters played during the preseason. The Bengals' approach this offseason, however, wasn't that different from the one they took in 2021, and they opened Week 1 a year ago with a 27-24 home overtime win against the Minnesota Vikings. Other than giving up 336 passing yards on defense and missing 8 total tackles in that contest, the Bengals looked good overall in that contest. So, do I think these two different approaches will mean anything on Sunday in Cincinnati? Not really. Quite honestly, if the Steelers are going to beat the Bengals a few days from now, they'll likely have to do so in a similar fashion to the way they beat the Buffalo Bills on the road in Week 1 last season. They did not turn the football over in that game, and special teams provided a touchdown on a blocked punt. Their defense also allowed just 1 touchdown and 4 red zone trips, and also came away with a key 4th and 1 stop early in the fourth quarter. It wasn't a pretty win, but style points don't matter. As I mentioned during my Tuesday Terrible Take, the Steelers put a lot of emphasis on their special teams players again this season. That's obviously not a new approach, however. They'll also count heavily on their rebuilt defense in 2022 to help offset the offensive deficiencies they figure to have to start the season. The Steelers' first 6 games on their 2022 schedule makes for quite an interesting test for them. In short, if they come out of those first 6 games with a record of 500 or better, I imagine most of those wins playing out in a similar fashion. It would be nice to see them come out of the chute in Week 1 with a win, and especially with it being an AFC North affair. I have my doubts that will happen, however. We'll find out soon enough. Be sure to follow us at SteelersDepot.com and check out episodes of The Terrible Take every day at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And check out The Terrible Podcast with myself and Alex Kozora every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.